Hi, this is Jim Starkweather, the publisher of KitMaker Network and Aeroscale.com, and welcome to another episode of Cracking the Box. Today we have something special for you. This is the brand new release of the Tamiya Grumman F-14A Tomcat. This is a new tool kit. We've already done kind of a preview slash unboxing of this on our Facebook account. It was a live Facebook telecast on Saturday. On Saturday, yes. If you missed it, I'll try to put some links on our webpage on this page's review page slash feature page, whatever I do, and I'll put a link on YouTube if you want to click in to try to find that. I might also even try to integrate some of that video into this video if I can, but I'm just not sure I can actually extract it or download it from Facebook. And unfortunately, when we did it, I guess Facebook Live is broadcast in kind of a 720 or less resolution, so not really full HD. But then it gives you the option at the end to say upload video to HD video to Facebook, and I said yes. And then I looked later, and it hadn't uploaded the HD video, so I'm not quite sure what happened there either. But unfortunately, it did deprive us of some good HD footage of a walk around that we did at Castle Air Museum of a real F-14. So this is brand new kit. Yeah, a brand new plastic. This is 1/48 scale. So kind of the mid-scale size between the super giant 1/32 and the much smaller 1/72. For aircraft aficionados, you're going, yes, we know all that, Jim. So we just want to see what's inside the box. Now, I did get the test shot of this a while back, a week ago or so, and the test shot is what we looked at on Saturday. But lo and behold, in my mailbox appears yesterday the new full production kit. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox that here, try to incorporate some of our typical photos that we take of some of the parts, so you can see some really high-res close-up photos. I'm going to try to incorporate, like I said, some of Ernie's feedback on the kit. If I can't, then like I said, it is in our Facebook Live video, which is up on our KitMaker Network page, so you can check it out there, or we'll try to incorporate it in this page if I can. I'll put at least a link to it. I know I can link to it. I'm just not sure I can embed it or anything like that. So anyways, just giving you a preview of some of the side content here, what they've got with the marking guide. You can see this includes the VF-2 Bounty Hunters 1976 USS Enterprise, as well as the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force. And from what Ernie said, these are similar decals that they offered with the 1/32 scale kit. So they're definitely following kind of suit with the larger brother of this kit. All right, well, let's go ahead and open it up, shall we? Oh, the pricing, because Ernie was, he looked this up just to see what the pricing was, but the pricing is showing, is that 7,800? Yeah, that's the price there, 7,800 yen. So does that sound right? Okay. I think he said that, the list price was going to be slightly over 100, but obviously be able to probably buy the kit for about $80 here in the United States. All right, so right off the bat, we have the
Anyway, this is going to be hopefully the first part in a whole series of these, and perhaps it's going to start a new trend in reviews for the KitMaker Network as well. But anyway, I thought how cool it'd be. We both live in Fresno in the Central Valley, and today is not as hot as it could be, but it's probably going to be 105 today. But anyway, we're out here in the dead of noon. Right. We were hoping to start earlier, but due to talking with our buddies, we started later. Behind me is a D model from the F-101, so there are going to be a little bit of subtle differences that I can describe, but I'll go into further. But Tamiya, I'm sure we'll be doing a B model and a D model with a G-powered power plant setup. But let's do this, Jim. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the test shot sprues, which is on the back of our cart here. So this is a test shot. So this is the typical white box that we get from Tamiya. There's nothing. This is as raw as it comes. You can see the instruction manuals even photocopied. You see, get the view here. But what's really interesting that I've never noticed before? Tamiya normally has their paintings done up, but this is actually just a sketch of the painting, which is really neat. I mean, that's just, it's so neat to see stuff before it's actually done. But for the most part, everything looks pretty much it's finalized. You can see the instructions here for the cockpit. you can actually see how everything is separate. The panels are separate, which makes it really easy for painting the consoles. If everything was molded on, it's just a nightmare to have to mask everything off. Excuse the hawk sound in the background. It's actually for scaring the birds off of the other airplanes here at the museum. But you can kind of see here, flipping through here, typical Tamiya fashion, beautiful isometric views of the exploded, the assembly guide. See how the wing sections go together. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, I've gotten to scrutinize the model for the past couple days. I know there are some other reviews that have been done out there from Brett Green and Spencer Pollard. So this will be my take on it. And I've actually been quite experienced with this aircraft. I've been out on combat cruise on actually VF2's last cruise on the USS Constellation. And it's just I've been a huge fanboy of the Tomcat since I was a child, since the movie Top Gun came out in 1986. So I've actually built, the evolution of kits. My first model was the monogram kit. Everyone has done that model at one time in their lives or the other. If you're building model kits, so everyone knows how that goes together. Race panel lines and all that. No avionics bays, gun bays. And then came the Academy kit, which was kind of refined monogram kit, recessed panel lines. And then, of course, in 1988, the Hasegawa kit comes out, and we're like, oh my gosh, we've got a whole new tool, Tomcat. And then from there, we had the Hobby Boss kit about, I would say, maybe 10 years now. So yeah, that's pretty much the evolution of F-14 kits in 48 scale. And I've done a lot of the 32nd kits too. But true at heart, I love 48 scale because it's a nice size. Looking at the sprue layout here, I pan down here. You can actually see the fuselage is all one piece on the lower.
The light. I'm trying to get it.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'll say one thing. I've actually built two 32nd Tamiya Tomcat kits. This actually reminds me a lot of the design of the 32nd kit in certain ways. The way the upper fuselage goes, the lower fuselage, this is almost like dead on. So I don't know how this is looking on the screen. You know what? I should probably take it out, but you can see how finite the panel lines are. They're absolutely gorgeous. The finiteness. So another thing too on this lower fuselage part here, you'll notice that the lower boat tail, beaver tail half is actually, majority of it's molded on, with the Hasegawa kit, it was actually a totally separate piece. Yeah, the fillet seam, it was just a lot of work to do. Tamiya has actually integrated this as an entire piece on the lower portion. You still have to drill the holes out for the Phoenix pallets if you choose to do so, versus a Sparrow AIM-7 loadout. Partial wheel wells are actually, main wheel wells are on here. But otherwise, gorgeous molding. Oh yeah, another thing I noticed too, as well, is that the slime lights are even molded on the side. I've never seen that done before. Normally it's always been done as a photo etch piece, as an add-on, but even the little slime light details on there. Moving on, so here's the upper fuselage parts in the nose section. What I love about the way this is designed is that it minimizes the seam filling design. All you have is this little center section here. The rest of it's pretty much filled in by the wing bags, what's the proper name I'm using for, the bags that compressed during the wing sweep. The nose section, the nose cone is actually molded as a single piece. All other companies have pretty much had this as a separate part because some companies have actually given you the AWG-9 radar. The Tamiya kit does not have any exposed radar or avionics at all. I'm not a big guy in showing a lot of all that stuff off. I like a nice clean aircraft build. When you do that, you start losing the lines of the aircraft. But what's really interesting that I did notice, it actually does give you a refueling probe. It is in the kit. You can find the actual probe itself. I didn't realize that until recently. So yeah, there's actually a optional refueling door probe feature as well. So going on to the port side of the nose, you can actually see it's actually tooled for various gas purge configurations. So what this kit pretty much represents is actually a 1978 to an 83 think in that time frame, just because of the way the boat tail beaver tail configuration is, and the way the TCS, or not TCS, the ALQ 100 sensors on the bottom, because this kit does not include the TCS, the tactical camera system, in the model. There's no parts for that, but I'm sure in later variants, hopefully they will do that with the B or the D models. So yeah, you can see that how that's tooled for that. I can't comment anything about fit, but I'm sure it's going to be typical Tamiya fashion. It's probably going to be a drop-in fit. But yeah, for me, having that one-piece radome on there, you don't have to describe anything. I love that. Let's move on here. Oh yeah, this was another fantastic feature that I saw in the model. Intakes. I love doing full intakes. Getting full intakes seamless is always the most difficult thing. So the genius behind this design is that you can see the trunking here. So they're in two halves. They're not too deep to where you can't stand them easily. But what I love about it is that it's actually, I'm 99% sure it's actually split at where the white and gray demarcation line is. It's actually countersunk right here, and this whole thing actually just sinks right in. So you don't have to do any masking or anything. You just paint the parts separately, glue them, paint the white, the gray, the gold gray, and then glue it in there, and man, you've got a perfect intake canal. Another thing too, I did notice, the variable intake ramps are actually only in a subsonic position. So you really can't move the ramp like in the 32nd kit that they did before, but which is fine for me. The configuration of this model is really meant to be on the ground, and I'll elaborate on that a little bit further. Moving around the sprue here, we've got the rudders, which are beautifully molded as well. And I did actually do one test. I was really curious. I actually had the Fighter Town decal sheet for the part 2 for the F-14s. And the VF-111 markings that I adore so much actually fit. They actually line up with the paneling and everything beautifully. So even though they were meant for Hasegawa, it will fit the Tamiya kit perfectly. Moving on here to the left, we've got the Ford Phoenix pallets. And if you notice the way it's slotted, I think we're going to see some Bombcat shackles here in the future. These here are the external fuel tank pylons. That's pretty much it there. The ventral fins on the bottom. Okay, oh, we got cockpit, my favorite part. So you can kind of see how everything is separated. So here's the main tub. The sill work, that's another great thing about this kit. They actually give you the full canopy railing with the sills and all the latches. That's a nice feature. And there's nothing photo etched. It's actually all injection molded. Another great thing too, which other kits have lacked, is actually sidewall detail on the cockpit. Tamiya has actually supplied all that stuff. What else do we have here? And here's all the HUD, the combing and all that stuff. Yeah, and yeah, this is actually kind of a generic. I think this is actually specific for a model because you can kind of see how these side panels are all separated because on the Bs and D models when they became Bombcats, they actually had more MFD displays that were added. We've got the TF30 nozzles, so Tamiya has actually supplied the nozzles actually in the open and closed position. So which is awesome is because if you're looking at F-14 on a flight line, for some odd reason, the hydraulics always shut down, enough to where one nozzle is always open and closed. So if you choose to, you can actually do that with this. Another great feature too is actually the cams. They're actually one-piece moldings, no seam down the center. Love that. The flame holders are actually separate pieces. They actually go in the back. You can actually see another. There's a front console here. So this is all a specific spruing here. ALQ 100. Pod for the nose. Interesting. I just noticed the anti-collision light is actually molded in a solid piece versus being clear. And nothing that chrome silver and clear red wouldn't remedy. So let's go on from that. The next sprue is actually the elevators. Those are all very well done. There's not
very thin. Yeah,
actually, what? That's another thing I will comment on. I was going to wait till the main wings, but you did notice it. If you look at the molding for the trailing edges on these things, I can't believe how scale thick they are. They are fantastic.
Keep the model lighter.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just for scale, the appearance, because I always see these other model kits that get built, and and a lot of modelers always forgo the fact, thinking out the trailing edges. They should be, they're really razor sharp. If you're running into one in real life, it'll split your head open. Right. I've done it. Yeah. So in addition on this sprue, we've got more A-specific parts So we have the Crew 7 ejection seats. No belts. The Tamiya has actually provided them as decals, and we'll get into that later. But again, you'll take a look at the way the layout is. It's just like the 30-second one. It's amazing how much 30-second influence is in here. Even the pilot figures are almost like the 30-second sculpted ones. And then we have A-specific rim pattern tires as well.
Where'd you go? There he is.
Yeah.
No, that's not him. There he is. There he is.
But you know, when I go to build this, I think I might actually put the pilots in there. Yeah, so, and then we've got the external fuel tanks on the bottom, and these are beautifully molded. And we've even done the relief cap. It's actually a separate piece that goes in the back. And here's your pylons for your AIM-7. Yep. Your tires, they're not bulged, just to let you know. They are regular round tires. Yeah. They're not non-bulged tires. Symmetrical. So, not bulged, but flattened, I should say.
Right, yeah.
AOA sensors, little miscellaneous pieces. Yeah, sidewinder, pylon. Yep. That's pretty much it. And there's 2 sprues for that.
That's all right. If you're doing an aircraft gear down coming in for a landing, you definitely don't want to have bulged tires.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a whole other thing. Yeah, that's been debated upon. So yeah, here's a whole other thing. When this was initially announced at the Shizuoka Hobby Show, it was going to be said that the weapons sprue was going to be a separate kit you had to buy. And I know, you know, working in the industry, I just know modelers don't want to have to spend more money if they don't have to. So, you know,
so the good news
Hasegawa, you had to buy all your weapons. You know, even though Hasegawa had a decent F-14, it was okay for its time. You know, think about 1988, right? So, but you still had to buy all the weapons separately. You had to buy weapon set C, I believe, what it was. So Tamiya has actually included 2 styles of AIM-9. AIM-9, I believe they're E or D or E, and then L models. And of course, and these were specific to that time frame as well. And then the AIM-54, of course, and the AIM-7. So the AIM-54s are molded into multi-piece parts, but they are beautifully tooled. I mean, these are on the market so far. These are the best AIM-54s on the market, in a kit, I should say. And they are actually hauled out in the back too, so it actually has relief. Now on the AIM-7s though, you will have to countersink. On the real M7, it actually has a tiny countersink, but it still has a cap cover on it. Right. And on the real ones I've seen, they've kind of been this copperish color. Same thing with the AIM-9s. Actually, on the AIM-9s, on the real ones, they're pretty much capped off. There's really no relief. But the thing I always look for on AIM-9 detail is the roll-around details, and they've actually done those really nicely. Those are depicted well. But yeah, nice weapons. I'm really glad the kit has weaponry, because I think modelers out there would really complain that they have to spend this amount for X amount and then having to spend more money. So anyway, yeah, and on top of that too, we'll get to it later, it's a decal sheet. The nomenclature is, I've never seen Tamiya go as far as a nomenclature, all the stenciling on the weapons. They've done everything. I noticed stenciling on this aircraft quite well. My friend at Lemoore was an AO on various aircraft, and he's educated me on a lot of different things on that. Okay, let's see. We're getting almost to the bottom. Here we've got the landing gear sprue, my favorite sprue. So, yes, for people that know me, yes, you know what I do. So anyway, this beautifully molded undercarriage. Nose gear is only in stowed position, so it's not compressed mode for carrier takeoff or anything. So it's only in one configuration. But they are beautifully done. Being a landing gear connoisseur myself, these are absolutely gorgeous struts. Tie-down rings are beautiful. Yeah, it's really well done. And then after this, we'll do a quick pan around the real thing, and you guys can take a look at our example here at the Castle Air Museum. And then here's the main landing gear doors, which are really well molded. What's great is that there's no sinkholes. Seen that in the past, but yeah, no sinkholes, thank goodness. I'm looking at this in direct sunlight. You know what? I keep on forgetting to take this out of the bag. So anyway, hopefully this is a better view. But the positive locking for the angles, it's going to make it really easy to glue all that stuff in after it's painting, especially that dreaded red line that you had to paint around the bores of the doors. That's the only thing I hate about building
the bores of the doors.
The bores. Well, it's so you don't. Yeah, an R museum jet I think still has red on it. Yep. So The joke is that the Navy actually painted those red, so the blood would actually just blend in with the doors. That's the ongoing joke.
Right.
So anyway, but having to paint that in 48 scale, oh, you have to mask it. It's just very precise. But anyway, it's just something we modelers have to do. But anyway, yeah, gorgeous stuff here. Here's the nose gear well. See how detailed it is. All the plumbing. It's for an injection molded part. That's fabulous. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, honestly, coming from a guy that loves using aftermarket,
so are you still gonna? You think you're still gonna end up doing a nose gear or
yeah, I'll still make some new stuff. I'm gonna probably CAD design some new parts with hydraulic lines and all that because I'm doing all that 3D printing and CAD design now. So
live review, which I believe would be an internet first as well.
Yeah, I've never seen any other, but I'm actually going on the fly. I didn't write any scripts or anything. This is just all junk I know in my head, which is scary. So yeah, here's the main wings. So what is amazing, a lot of companies have never depicted this before. There's actually this little step here, and Tamiya's actually got it. It's actually got the right panel length and everything, and they've done that. This is the most accurate F-14 wing in 48 scale right here.
Very nice.
And you can see how this whole gear mechanism is geared. So you've got a nice, you have a nice swept wing. Yeah.
Functionality.
Yeah, so again, this is another cue from the 32nd scale kit. And here's the center brace. Now, if you ever look at the photos of an F-14, in depot or whatever, this brace is actually modeled like the real thing. So it's not just a modeling design.
Like an internal part.
Yeah, the way the real F-14 brace looks just like this. So I'll go into this, and I'm sure a lot of people, it's been kind of spoken about since Tamiya released it, is what I call flapgate. So everyone has been complaining about how Tamiya, it's like, okay, well, we're in 2016 and we've got all these models, it's like, why didn't Tamiya do drop flaps and slats? And here's my take on it. So I kind of did a little study. I went on Google and looked at all the F-14 builds in any scale. The majority of the builds on the internet were, they were all swept back, unless you're building an in-flight, this thing on a stand, in flying mode or landing, or launching off of the catapults on, a carrier dial setting, like, say if you were to use a kinetic, deck pieces, dial thing they make, that would be the only reason I would warrant that. But, the majority of the people are going to be building this thing. I'm actually going to build this thing with the wings swept back because that's its natural habitat. When it's on an aircraft carrier, there's no room to leave wings open.
Right.
The only time you're going to see that is if it's in depot or something like that. Otherwise, even another thing too, even if the wings are out parked on the ground, the flaps are always up anyway. You don't want birds and other foreign things getting inside the mechanisms and all that stuff. But yeah, I know everyone's going to have their opinion about it, but this is the way Tamiya decided to depict it. Streamlined natural habitat.
Right.
So hence the nose gear being non-compressed and all that.
The nose itself.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, and if you have the separate parts, and if you want to build a sweatback, you have to glue the flaps on and everything, get everything lined up, and then you have to, if you get any glue out and you have to rescribe the whole thing, it's just a nightmare. This, you got your nice piano hinges and everything. It's all fair. It's streamlined.
Well, plus it's a marketing decision because more parts means more money, more cost of the
Well, sure, exactly. Yeah, so so here we'll go into this. The MSRP, I actually just went on my distributor's website, is $115. That is the United States retail price of this model. So, but you're going to see this model, I'm willing to bet, as low as $80. That's going to be the street price for it.
Right.
$80. So if you think about that, $80, that's actually on par with all the other companies, like Hobby Boss. Hasegawa is probably maybe a little less now, but it puts it out in that same range. So anyway, here's the decal sheet, gorgeous sheet. I don't know if this is a cartograph. I think it's a test shot. So I don't know if Tamiya's gone back to cartograph, but even if it's Tamiya, these are actually relatively thin.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a woman sneezing profusely in the background. So anyway, you can see how beautiful the artwork is laid out. We got VF-80, classic VF-84, Final Countdown, VF-2 Bounty Hunters. And here's another cue from the original 32nd kit, the Iranian Air Force markings. The cool camouflage, desert camouflage markings. And that's all supplied.
Our friend.
Yeah. Well, Iran technically is kind of our friend again.
Kind of.
In a way. Besides that boat incident out in the Gulf.
We won't go.
And here's what I was talking about, the extensiveness of the nomenclature. I mean, look. So here's the belts. So it actually gives you a bunch of radar lot. If you know, so if you want to depict it with it being on, I guess radar screens are on. We've got all these slime light decals, but I mean, look at that. That's very extensive for a stock decal sheet. I mean, a Sparrow stenciling. I've never seen the striping done for the fins on that before.
Okay, I did get a comment. Randy Jones, Aberdeen, Maryland says hello.
Okay, hello, Randy. Thank you for tuning in. And then the Phoenix decals. Yeah, it's gorgeous. So moving on here. This is test shot again. They actually give you window mask stencils.
Right. This will be masking.
This will actually be on the familiar Tamiya tape, but you still have to cut it out. It's not going to be pre-cut. So that's a nice little feature.
That is.
And we have a painting guide, but the thing is, the painting guide is actually in black and white. The production version is going to be in color.
Yeah.
So you can see the VF-84, nice top-down front, or there's no front view. And then we've got VF2 and Iranian. Yeah, it's a gorgeous kit.
We want to take a look around the aircraft, and I'm sure some of the people watching would be interested in doing that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get Joe back in here. Joe is again the director of the Castlegar Museum, and he could tell us about how the aircraft was acquired. And
well, thank you, Ernie. The aircraft you see behind me is the fifth from the last F-14 built. It's a F-14D model, was built in, I believe, 1992, right at the tail end of the F-14 program. This aircraft right behind me retired with VF-101, the Grim Reapers, out of NAS Oceana, was flown to the Castle Air Museum on September 20th, 2005, as it retired here. It was flown in by Commander Paul Haas and Anthony Desmet, the wing or squadron exec. The airplane actually saw combat service over Baghdad in 2004 and actually had a part in strafing some insurgents with the Gatling gun going toward Baghdad airport.
Very cool.
That's awesome. I did not know that.
This airplane actually, according to now Captain retired Paul Haas, suffered a catastrophic engine failure while he was flying it over the Virginia Beach area, out over the coast or over the ocean. And he actually thought he was going to have to eject, but got the fire out, and so the airplane is here. We're very, very glad to have it. It is on indefinite loan from the National Museum of Naval Aviation in Pensacola, and it was really our first true naval asset into the museum.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, Joe, for that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joe. Yeah, thank you for letting us be out here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
my
pleasure. It's always one of my favorites.
Yep. Well, here, I'll give some commentary on some other things from Mahler's point of view. So even though this is not an A model, if you zoom into the camera, Mahlers always love to see these kind of shots. So you can always tell a D model from any other variant from the chin pod. So you've got the TCS with the LQ100 with the IR fairing next to it. It's quite a bulky assembly if you look at it. So hopefully we'll see one of these from Tamiya in the next year or two. But yeah, it's that won't be hard to do as a new tool part. But yeah, you can see the enormity of this aircraft. Everyone knows it from the movie Top Gun.
Yep. Until you get up next to one, you don't realize how big they are.
Yep.
They look so small on our workbenches.
Actually, let's go over the channel. Right. Make sure you don't hit your head against the red part.
Yes, I will avoid the fatal injury to my head.
Yep. So you can get some detail on the nosier strut.
Yep.
Yep. This is actually in full retracted position. Launch bar retracted. Yeah, this is as raw as it gets right here.
By the way, guys, I can see comments.
See how you can see how they're rotating the tie-on locks.
Oh, there's the lock.
Yep. You know another good shot? Let's get inside the nose door.
There's actually a corner.
Yeah. Watch your head.
Yeah.
But get in here, so you can actually see the light positioning with the. Oh boy, there's some wasps there.
And the hornets.
Yeah, hornets. But yeah, look at that. Look at all that stuff in there.
Somebody should tell them they should be over on. You know, we don't have a Hornet, do we?
I'm sure we'll get one soon.
Yeah.
You know, I don't blame the Hornets. If I was a Hornet, I'd be living in there too. So yeah, we're obviously on the starboard side of the airplane. We've got the intakes covered, so really can't see anything down the hole.
Yeah.
There's no engines in here anyway. So being a D model, this actually has, you know, would have had the F-110 motors.
Right.
And we're also missing the lower pylon. So we have the main upper pylon, but there's no lower pylon. So yeah, here's the main wheel well. So you can see a lot of stuff going on here. Tamiya's done a pretty good job, but you know, with photos like this, you know, you probably take some screen grabs off of our video here, and model your kit even further if you so desire.
You could.
But yeah, look at all that. It's just amazing how all this works in unison. I love it. You actually notice too that the red line actually comes up outside. It's not just on the inside. It actually comes out here. Comes up here.
Land on you, I guess you're okay.
Fine. So yeah, you can see how big this. Look at this giant tire. And again, this is actually a D model specific rim. You'll notice on the A models they have more of a spoked pattern. I guess. Well, this is technically spoked, but yeah. And to me, I'm sure we'll do that as well as a change. But yeah, to me on a landing, they've actually gotten all this.
Quite a bit behind.
Pretty well. That's my buddy.
No, there's like 3 of them behind.
Okay, so
they seem to be.
They're Pokemon.
Taking interest.
They're Pokemon.
Right.
Hornets.
We found out that for those of you familiar with Pokemon, that there are like literally 50 Pokestops here because people took pictures of the.
Oh, go ahead and get some shots of the lower, you know, hinge area too. And notice the wing glove as well. The wing glove area. You can kind of see how that. And Tamiya has actually replicated that really well. You know. Because you know that it's an air bladder when it's active, so you know you don't want any seams or any turbulence building up in there. You can see how the piano hinges, and Tamiya has done that too. You know, probably couldn't see in the video, but they've actually done a really good job painting all this stuff on here. Yeah, so you can see how most kits they're all split up right at this point. So when they actually re-engine these things to F-110, I mean, the model companies are putting it right at the same point where the real manufacturers did the change, because that's how you always tell, the GE motor versus the Pratt & Whitney TF30, that this is all composite carbon, and on the original TF30, it didn't have as large of a shroud like this. This is actually where the change is. In fact, look at the way they did in real life. Look at all the caulking and silicone. Look how rough that is.
That's poorly made.
Yeah.
They're gonna
if that was on a model, oh my gosh, you get taken out. Oh, notice the elevator, the pivot point. Yeah, look at that. I've never really noticed that little detail on there. So yeah, yep. Look at all the ribbon up there. In fact, you know what, too? Notice this. I know this isn't specific to the A model, but a lot of people, in fact, this is a perfect angle. You got to be here, Jim. So there's actually a difference between.
You shoot it.
Okay.
Just look at the. Yeah.
All right. So there's a difference actually in the elevators on F-14D models. They're actually, I think they're a composite material versus the old A models, but you can actually see the strengthening. I don't know if it's some kind of
shooting that
tape or something like that. I actually can't because my
right, yeah.
I'll need you to be camera again.
I'll do it.
But anyway, yeah. But this is only specific for a D model. So yeah, these are all little cues. So yeah, to me, if you're watching this, when you do the D model, make sure you get that.
Right. There you go.
All right, watch out for the change.
Yeah.
Or you know what? Here, let's just go around.
Oh, I was just gonna go around.
All right. So yeah, here's my favorite part. The burner can. So this is actually depicted in the open position.
Right. Fully flared open.
Yeah, D model. I don't know. I think when I was on the ship with VF2, I think they still. I don't know. I think they were mainly open on both sides, but it was like on TF30s, they were always open and closed on one side. I think it was on the GE as well. But you can see the characteristics of the GE. The big turkey tail feathers covered back here. But this is a serious power right here. I was able to witness the launches off the Constellation, and those things didn't need it. Anything that was 110 powered did not need afterburner on takeoff in a carrier. It was amazing. It just went off. And here's the tail hook.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. That this thing weighs within ton. You can see the
Well, it
chaff,
better be pretty strong in
chaff
order to
buckets are
take all
empty,
the-
so you can see the entire chaff bay area is open. Nothing left there. Oh yeah, that was another thing I neglected to talk about on the review on the Tamiya kit. Tamiya did not supply open air brakes, so that's another thing. But again, that's the thing that's only open on landing.
Right.
You know, that's about it. And our museum bird has obviously has the air brakes close to. And notice we don't have the Phoenix pallets or anything on it. It's all smooth.
You guys that are watching, just let me know, is the volume okay? I know if I get the phone too far away from Ernie, you're probably going to hear him that
Yeah,
way.
I don't know if I want to go in there because
Just let me know if you can.
And you can see it's got the later fairing too for the demol, so you can always tell the demol's from this big old fairing. And it's actually like almost like a fiberglass cloth weave that's on top of it. Fuel dump. You see the red fuel dump.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You can see how the vertical stabs. Oh, yeah, the rudders are actually cocked in a little bit, just
a little
slightly.
bit,
They're not perfectly straight.
I don't think it's flight ready.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
What would it take to get her flight ready, Joe?
Put her in a hangar, or go through her, or get some engines.
Yeah, I suppose you know.
Hey, Joe, if you do that, you know what? I'll be your wingman anytime.
Bullshit. You can be mine.
Right.
Yeah, no. This is like with any airplane that's on loan, a definite loan. It has to be. Part of the agreement is with the national museums, they have to be static only. So,
yes.
we do a great job with the interiors, making them as authentic as possible to view. Even if we have to fabricate panels or things like that, which our restoration department can do. So what you see when you open some of these airplanes up for cleaning or whatever, which we're responsible to do, they're pretty accurate to the original, pretty faithful to the original.
So to let anybody know who's maybe in California, they do have a open cockpit day here once a year, right?
Twice a year.
Twice
actually.
a year.
We have one coming up on Saturday, September 3rd.
All right.
From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So many of these airplanes will be open for viewing. They'll have viewing stands. They'll have docents up there explaining the innards and outers of the airplane. You can't sit in them because they're national assets, but you can just view them.
Right.
And we only do that twice a year. So.
If you're looking for more information, is it castleairmuseum.com?
At castleairmuseum.org.
.org,
yeah.
right.
And also on Facebook as well.
And also on Facebook.
And on Facebook.
And the F-14 will be open.
Yes, it will.
Although it has Groove 7 seats in it, but still, yeah. Well, if you're building an A model, that's actually accurate. So if anyone needs to get good detail shots for building the Tamiya F-14A, the D models, the Bs, only the D models have the NACES SU 17 seats in it. So, but anyway, it was really hard to find those because they still use them. So, anyway, yeah.
It has the Groove 7s in it. It has the seat cushions, which we found, and a lot of things. Matter of fact, they at some point the Gatling gun is in this, although there's a few inches cut off the breech.
Oh, okay.
But it's in there for show.
Oh, for demo.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
All right, I think we'll wrap up the live feed.
I hope everyone enjoyed the review.
Yeah, if you didn't catch the review, if you came in late, because it looks like we have more viewers now, of course, than we had at the beginning, then I'll be posting this, so you'll be able to go back and look over the earlier portion that was live, if you want to do so. We did review the new Tamiya F-14A model, which is coming out soon. It will be out in probably like 4 to 8 weeks, something like that. So
I want to say something out, a big shout out to Captain Paul Haas, U.S. Navy retired. This is your baby, so if you're watching her on Facebook, here she is.
And that could very well happen. Somebody will send him the
link.
Never
know.
Maybe.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.